chosen one. Breathe for a moment and listen with your spirit, because you are not here by coincidence. You did not stumble onto this message. You were guided. Heaven has been pulling you toward this very moment, a divine appointment written long before you ever took your first breath. Something in you has always known you were different. Something ancient, something sacred, something not of this world has been stirring inside you since childhood. And now, chosen one, the veil is beginning to lift. You are standing at the threshold of a revelation about who you truly are, your sensitivities, your dreams, your strange inner knowing, the unexplainable patterns that followed you all your life. They were never random. They were markers, codes, signs of an origin that does not trace back solely to earth. As it is written in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, before you were formed, you were known and set apart. That truth has been echoing in your spirit, waiting for this hour. Anointed. One today is the awakening. Today your hidden identity begins to rise to the surface. Open your heart, open your spirit. What you are about to hear will not just inform you, it will transform you. Chosen one, now lean in. What you are about to hear is not simply teaching. It is recognition. It is remembrance. It is the moment your spirit finally hears what it has been whispering to you for years. Because deep down beneath the noise of this world and the expectations that tried to shape you, something inside you has always known the truth. You were never just flesh and bone. You were never just another soul walking through life, hoping to find meaning. You were sent. You were formed with intention. You carry a blueprint that this world did not give you, and therefore this world cannot define. When heaven crafted you, chosen one, something different was breathed into you, something rare, something ancient. You have always felt it. Even as a child, you sensed things others couldn't explain. You noticed patterns nobody else noticed. You picked up emotions in the room without a word being spoken. You felt atmospheres shift when certain people walked in, and although you didn't have language for it back then, your spirit already understood that you were moving by a rhythm not of this world. I know what that feels like, because I walked through the same journey. I remember sitting in rooms full of people and feeling as though I was the only one truly awake. I remember hearing my own thoughts whisper things like, "This can't be all there is," while everyone else seemed satisfied with the surface of life. I remember trying to explain my dreams, my intuition, my inner knowing, only to be met with confusion or laughter. But years later, I realized something powerful. The world could not understand me because heaven had not revealed me yet. And chosen one, that is your story too. Your sensitivity is not weakness. Your deep inner knowing is not imagination. Your restlessness is not dysfunction. These were signals, divine indicators, marking you as one who carries an origin beyond human logic. You were born into this world, yes, but not formed by it. Like the ancient words in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, remind us you were known before you were ever shaped. You were set apart before you ever took your first breath. There is something different about the way your spirit sits inside your body. You feel things deeply because your spirit is wired to detect what others ignore. You sense danger before it arrives, because your spirit remembers realms your mind has forgotten. You get drained by crowds because your energy was designed for purpose, not for noise. People call you too emotional, too intense, too spiritual, too much. But what they cannot see is that heaven crafted you with layers they were never meant to understand. And sometimes that difference has felt like a burden. You tried to fit in, but fitting in drained you. You tried to silence your intuition, but doing so felt like suffocating your own soul. You tried to walk the path that seemed normal, but every step felt like a betrayal of your true self. That is because you were never meant to live as a copy. You were meant to live as a revelation. Chosen one, think about the moments that shaped you the most. Not the achievements or the celebrations, but the quiet nights when you felt something calling you. The times you woke up from dreams that felt more real than your waking life. The moments when you felt watched over, protected, guided, even when no one was physically around. These were not coincidences. These were markers, evidence of a spiritual identity the world couldn't name because it didn't originate here. Maybe you remember being the child who asked questions too deep for your age, or the teenager who felt older than your peers as though you carried memories from another lifetime. Or the adult who looks at the world and feels the weight of what others cannot see, the spiritual patterns, the hidden motives, the unseen battles playing out in plain sight. Chosen one, your life has been a classroom of spiritual signs, and every sign pointed to one truth: your origin is not limited to human DNA. You carry divine imprint. You carry spiritual inheritance. You carry an identity that was hidden not to punish you, but to protect you until the appointed time, this time when heaven begins to unveil who you truly are. And here is the part most people never understand: when heaven hides a person, it is because that life carries a calling too powerful to be exposed too early. Your rejection was protection. Your isolation was preparation. Your sensitivity was calibration. Every unusual piece of your story was heaven shaping you into someone who could carry a weight others were never built for. Chosen one. Your awakening is not beginning, it is accelerating. Your spirit is remembering, your identity is rising, and the world you once tried to fit into is now becoming the proof that you were never meant to fit at all. You are more than human, you always were. And now it is time to understand what that truly means. Chosen one. Now that your spirit has begun to awaken to the truth of who you are, we must go deeper. Because this journey is not just about realizing you are different, it is about understanding why you are different. Heaven never marks someone without purpose, and every sign you have carried since childhood has been pointing toward a divine origin that cannot be explained by the natural world. Let's start with something you may have never spoken out loud: that feeling of being watched over. Not in a fearful way, but in a protective way, as if something in the unseen realm was guiding your steps, redirecting you, shielding you, nudging you toward certain decisions. Most people go through life depending only on logic. But you, anointed one, have lived with moments of inexplicable clarity, times when you knew exactly what to do without understanding how you knew it. Times when your spirit moved before your mind caught up. Have you ever walked into a place and instantly felt something was wrong, even if everything looked normal? That is not being dramatic. That is discernment woven into your DNA. Your spirit can sense spiritual danger before it manifests physically. Or have you ever met someone and felt an immediate heaviness, even though they smiled on the outside? That is spiritual perception, the gift of recognizing the unseen intentions behind human faces. And you did not learn this from books or sermons. It was born inside you. A natural knowing, a spiritual instinct that marks those who come from a higher origin. You see, chosen one, there are people who learn spirituality, and then there are those who remember it. And you have always remembered, even when you tried to run from it. Even when life pushed you into seasons of confusion or exhaustion, even when you tried to convince yourself that you were imagining things, that inner voice never disappeared, that sensitivity never went away, because it is not something you picked up. It is something you are. I remember when I first realized this about myself. I was walking through a season where everything around me looked normal on the outside, but my spirit felt unsettled for reasons I couldn't explain. I kept feeling like something was shifting, like I was being moved into a new chapter, and I couldn't understand why the people around me did not feel it too. But one night, as I sat alone in quiet reflection, it hit me. I was not experiencing life from the same dimension they were. I was moving with an inner compass they could not see, and that realization changed everything. It freed me from trying to make sense to people who were never meant to understand my spiritual frequency. Chosen one, that same freedom is coming to you now. The world has tried to label your depth as too emotional, your intuition as too sensitive, your isolation as antisocial, your hunger for something beyond this world as overthinking. But heaven calls those same qualities evidence. Evidence that your origin reaches back to a place where the natural and supernatural meet. Evidence that you carry a blueprint that does not belong to the ordinary. Evidence that you are walking through this world with two sets of eyes, the ones in your head and the ones in your spirit. And here is another sign of your divine origin. The battles you've faced have always been heavier than those around you, not because you are cursed, not because you are weak, but because the enemy recognized you long before you even recognized yourself. Some of your childhood struggles were not random. They were early attempts to dim a light he knew would one day awaken. The spiritual attacks you faced in your teens or adulthood were never about what you were at the time, they were about what you were destined to become. The enemy fights the hardest against the ones who carry the greatest calling, yet you survived. You made it here, and that alone proves your origin is supernatural, because no ordinary soul could have endured what you did and still carried compassion, depth, and spiritual vision. Chosen one. You are beginning to remember the truth. You're not just a person having spiritual experiences. You are a spiritual being having a human assignment. This world is the mission field, not your home. Your spirit came here with purpose, and every strange, painful, beautiful, confusing moment of your life has been a breadcrumb leading you back to the truth heaven hid inside you. And now that truth is unlocking. Your real identity is rising from the ashes of every season that tried to bury you. Heaven has been whispering your name for years, and now your spirit is finally answering. This is not the beginning of your story. This is the moment you realize your story was never ordinary in the first place. Chosen one, the next layer of your awakening is even deeper, and it will change how you see your past, your relationships, and your destiny. Chosen one. As we go deeper, the pieces of your life that once felt disconnected will begin to align. You will start to see that nothing about your journey was accidental. Every season, every disappointment, every strange spiritual sensitivity, every moment you felt out of place, all of it was preparation for this revelation unfolding now. There is a reason you always felt like an observer in a world where everyone else seemed comfortable. While others blended in easily, you were the one questioning everything. You were the one sensing what others ignored. You were the one who couldn't fully attach to the system's expectations and identities the world tried to hand you. And chosen one, that was never failure. That was prophecy. Heaven was protecting the purity of your identity long before you understood it. Think back to your childhood. Do you remember how you could never tolerate injustice even when you were small, or how you felt deeply connected to certain people, places, or moments as if you had lived them before, or how sudden waves of sadness or joy came over you without explanation? These were not childhood quirks. They were early signs. Your spirit was responding to things far beyond what your young mind could grasp. You were already operating on a frequency that adults around you could not interpret. I felt this when I was young too. I would ask questions that made adults stare at me in silence, questions no one expected from a child. There were nights I'd sit quietly and feel as though someone unseen was watching over me, guiding me. I didn't understand it then, and maybe you didn't either, but as I grew, the pattern became unmistakable. Heaven had marked me early, and life was simply catching up to that truth. Chosen. 1. The very same is true for you. Another sign of your divine origin is the way you experience relationships. You do not connect with people superficially. You have always seen deeper, felt deeper, cared deeper. And because of that, shallow connections drain you, crowded spaces overwhelm you, inauthentic people suffocate you. This isn't because you're too sensitive, it's because your spirit was wired for truth, depth, and alignment. And because of your origin, the wrong people recognized your light too, even before you recognized it. Some were drawn to you because they felt your purity. Others envied you because your existence triggered the parts of themselves they refused to confront. And a few knowingly or unknowingly tried to dim your light because they saw something in you they could not name, a strength, a clarity, a destiny they did not understand. You may not realize it, but many of the attacks you faced were spiritual reactions to your identity. You weren't targeted because you were weak. You were targeted because your spirit carried authority. Darkness always tries to suffocate what heaven has anointed. The world pushes against whatever is not from it. And chosen souls often endure heavier storms because those storms are designed to keep them from awakening. But you survived every storm. You endured every attack. Not because you were lucky, but because you are not meant to fall. Your survival is one of the greatest proofs of your origin. Ordinary souls break under pressure meant for you. But you bend, you cry, you heal, you rise. You have always risen, even when you felt shattered. Chosen 1. Your spiritual senses are also evidence of who you are. Have you noticed how you can feel when someone is lying, even when their words sound perfect? Have you noticed how you can see the true nature of a person long before they reveal it? Have you noticed that your dreams often carry messages, warnings, or revelations? Have you noticed how your spirit reacts before your mind processes what's happening? This is because you were built with a bridge between realms. You are not limited to the 5 senses. Your spirit was designed with antennas tuned to heaven's frequency. You pick up signals others can't. You discern danger before it arrives. You sense shifts in the atmosphere. Your reactions often seem random, but they are spiritual intelligence moving through your body. Even your pain has purpose. Those seasons where you felt disconnected, misunderstood, abandoned, they were pruning seasons. Heaven was removing what did not match your calling. Heaven was refining your identity through fire. Heaven was ensuring that when you finally awakened, nothing counterfeit remained attached to you. Chosen 1. You are not remembering something new. You are remembering something ancient, something eternal, something heaven buried inside you to be unlocked at the appointed time. And now that time is here. Your identity is not a mystery to fear. It is a truth to embrace. Your origin is not something the world can validate. It is something your spirit already knows. And now, the next revelation will show you why you were hidden so long and why your awakening threatens everything that opposes your destiny. Chosen 1. As we step deeper into this revelation, you must understand something essential. Your life has never been random. Your delays were not accidents. Your rejections were not failures. Your loneliness was not punishment. Every one of those seasons was designed to protect something sacred inside you, the identity heaven hid until the appointed time. There is a reason your spirit never attached to this world. There is a reason you always felt like you were passing through, even when others seemed rooted. And there is a reason your soul refused to be satisfied with the shallow things that fulfilled those around you. Chosen one. Your spirit remembers where it came from, even if your mind is only starting to understand. This is why you have always felt the tension between who you were told to be and who you truly are. You tried to follow the path others followed, but it never quite fit. You tried to silence your intuition, but it kept rising. You tried to settle for ordinary, but something in you resisted. You tried to dim your light, but life kept forcing you into situations where your true nature leaked through anyway, because you are not ordinary. You are not from here. You're not made of the same spiritual composition as the crowd. Your very essence carries the fingerprint of the divine. I remember a time in my life when I tried to fit into a place I was never meant to belong. I tried to blend into the background, thinking it would make life easier. But the more I hid, the more uncomfortable I became. The more I suppressed who I was, the louder my spirit grew. Until one day, sitting alone in reflection, I realized something powerful. The discomfort I felt wasn't failure. It was a sign, a spiritual alarm. Heaven was protecting my identity from being swallowed by environments that could not handle my calling. Chosen one. Perhaps you felt that same inner pressure, that sensation, that something in you refuses to go silent, no matter how much you try to be normal. That is not rebellion. That is not difficulty. That is identity. Your spirit is rejecting what does not align with your origin. And here is the truth. Most people never understand. The chosen are often hidden because their calling is too valuable to be exposed too early. You weren't overlooked, you were concealed. You weren't forgotten, you were preserved. You weren't ignored, you were being shaped for the moment heaven would reveal you. Think about the moments when people underestimated you. They saw the surface, but not the spirit. They saw the human exterior, but not the divine imprint. They treated you like you were ordinary because your true identity had not yet been unveiled, and perhaps that used to bother you. But chosen one, understand this. Heaven never allows the wrong people to recognize you too soon. If they saw what you carried prematurely, they would have tried to exploit it, control it, or destroy it. Your anonymity was your armor. Another sign of your divine origin is the resistance you faced from environments that were not aligned with your identity. It is not natural to feel so out of place in your own family, among childhood friends, or in communities you grew up in, unless your spirit was never designed to take root there. You were assigned to those spaces temporarily, not permanently. They were classrooms, not destinations. Chosen one. The reason people sometimes treated you with suspicion or jealousy without cause is because your spirit made them uncomfortable. You walked into rooms carrying an authority you didn't even know you had. Your presence confronted things in them they were not ready to face, and they felt it even if they couldn't explain it. And here is the part many never understand: what opposes you often reveals you. Spirits recognize spirits. Darkness recognizes light. Insecurity recognizes power. And mediocrity recognizes greatness long before greatness recognizes itself. This is why some people reacted strangely to you for no reason. This is why opportunities seem to hesitate before opening for you. This is why you had to fight battles others never had to face. The resistance was not proof of your weakness, it was confirmation of your identity, chosen one. The weight you've carried your entire life has not been because you are fragile, it has been because you are marked. You are carrying spiritual weight that others were never built to hold. You navigated emotional depths that others would drown in. You endured seasons where heaven was stretching your capacity because one day you would operate at a level that required that strength. Everything about you, your intuition, your dreams, your sensitivity, your inner conflicts, has been part of a divine formation. Heaven has been shaping you into someone who can walk between realms, sense what others miss, and carry an identity that transcends human understanding. And now, chosen one, we shift into an even deeper truth, the mystery of why your awakening is happening now, and what heaven is preparing you to step into next. Chosen one. As we continue this journey into your true origin, it's time to understand why your awakening is unfolding now. Not 10 years ago, not years from now, but in this very moment, in this exact season of your life. Because heaven does nothing by accident, and your timing is not random, it is divine strategy. For most of your life, you have been living beneath layers that did not belong to you, expectations placed on you, identities assigned to you, roles you tried to play because you thought they were required, masks you wore because you believed it was the only way to survive. But even beneath those layers, your spirit kept burning, quietly, steadily refusing to be extinguished. And now that flame is rising because heaven has declared that your hidden identity can no longer stay buried. Chosen one. You may not realize it, but every time you felt restless with the life others called normal, it was your spirit signaling that you were outgrowing a chapter heaven never intended to be permanent. When everything familiar began to fall apart, relationships shifting old patterns, breaking your desires, changing that was not chaos. That was divine disruption. Heaven was dismantling the old so that the truth of who you are could finally emerge. Think about your recent seasons. The sudden disinterest in things that once entertained you. The emotional and spiritual fatigue that forced you into solitude. The overwhelming pull toward introspection, healing, or spiritual awakening. The quiet moments when you felt something calling you higher. None of this was random. You were being prepared, purified, activated. I went through this too. There came a time when everything around me felt too small. Friendships, routines, environments, ambitions that once excited me suddenly felt empty. At first, I thought something was wrong with me, but in prayer and reflection, I realized something sacred. My spirit was shedding what no longer aligned with where heaven was taking me. And chosen one, that is what's happening to you right now. You are stepping out of the identity you built and into the identity heaven wrote. Another reason your awakening is happening now is because your gifts are maturing. Gifts you once ignored or misunderstood. Empathy, intuition, discernment, dreams, spiritual perception are intensifying. You are seeing clearer feeling, deeper understanding, faster. You're noticing patterns, synchronicities, warnings, spiritual activity. What once felt subtle is now undeniable. Chosen one. This is what happens when your divine DNA activates. Your spirit begins to operate at the frequency it was designed for. You start tuning into truths you couldn't hear before. You start sensing heaven's direction more clearly, and you start recognizing that the things you once thought were problems were actually marks of your spiritual origin. For example, that emotional depth you've been criticized for, it's spiritual sensitivity. That intuition people told you to ignore. It's prophetic instinct. Those dreams that used to confuse you, they were messages, not imagination. That inability to tolerate certain energies or people, that's discernment. Your capacity to see through intentions, that's spiritual sight. Your exhaustion around chaotic or dark environments, that's holy protection. These abilities did not show up randomly. They awakened when heaven said, "Now." And here's something else you must understand. Anointed One, the pain you endured in recent seasons was necessary to refine your perception. You cannot rise into divine identity without shedding what kept you spiritually asleep. Some people had to leave, some environments had to break, some illusions had to fall apart. Heaven allowed certain doors to close so you could walk through the one that was meant for you. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. And now heaven is calling you out of hiding, not to expose you, but to elevate you. The world you once tried to fit into will no longer feel the same because you are transforming from the inside out. Your spirit is aligning with its true origin, and as a result, your outer life must shift to match what heaven has awakened within you. Chosen One, your identity carries assignment. Your origin carries purpose. Your awakening carries responsibility. There are people connected to your calling. There are destinies tied to your obedience. There are battles only you can fight because your spirit was crafted with the authority to conquer them. Your timing is not about you, it's about what heaven is preparing to release through you. And as you embrace the truth of who you are, the old ways of living will no longer satisfy you. You will crave truth. You will crave purity. You will crave alignment. You will crave God. And the more you step into your origin, the more your purpose will begin to reveal itself. Chosen One, this is your appointed hour. Your awakening is not an event, it is a return, a remembering, a rising. You are stepping into the identity heaven wrote before the world ever named you. But to understand the fullness of who you are, we must now explore something deeper, the real reason you have always felt watched, guided, and spiritually protected. Chosen One. As we move deeper into this revelation of who you are, something in your spirit is already beginning to shift. You can feel it even now. It's like the air around you has become heavier with meaning, like something ancient inside you is waking up and stretching for the first time in years. This is not imagination. This is alignment. Your spirit is reconnecting with the truth it has always known, but was never given permission to fully embrace. And as this awakening happens, you will begin to see that the protection you've experienced your whole life has not been random. It has been intentional, deliberate, and connected directly to your divine origin. There were moments when danger should have consumed you, yet it didn't. There were seasons when you felt surrounded by darkness, yet something unseen stood between you and the thing that wanted to break you. Even in your weakest moments, even in the nights when you cried yourself to sleep or felt like giving up entirely, something held you. Something whispered strength into you. Something fought battles on your behalf that you didn't even know existed. Oh, Chosen One. This is because your life has always been spiritually guarded. You were protected not because you were fragile, but because you are essential. You carry something heaven refuses to let the enemy destroy. Think about the accidents you avoided, the relationships that ended abruptly without explanation, the job you didn't get, the opportunities that fell apart right before you stepped into them. At the time, you felt frustrated or confused. You wondered why life seemed so complicated, why every transition came with resistance, why every breakthrough seemed delayed. But now, as your identity awakens, you can look back and see the pattern. You were not being blocked. You were being redirected. You were not being punished. You were being shielded. The things you lost were never meant to carry your destiny, and the paths that closed were never meant to hold your calling. Chosen one, when heaven has placed something rare inside you, protection becomes compulsory. You have walked through seasons where you felt alone, but in truth you were surrounded. There were spiritual interventions that happened while you slept. There were moments when your spirit felt restless without reason, urging you to step back from certain people or situations. You didn't always understand it, but you obeyed that inner pull, and only later did you learn what you were saved from. That is spiritual instinct. That is ancestry. That is divine DNA awakening in real time. You may not know this yet, but your origin carries authority that calls angels into motion. Your prayers hit realms you cannot see. Your tears have moved things in the spirit. Even when you felt weak, heaven treated you like someone carrying weight. And this is why the enemy has always been unsettled by you. He could not touch your spirit, so he tried to break your mind. He could not steal your calling, so he tried to distract your focus. He could not destroy your destiny, so he tried to convince you that you didn't have one. But every attempt failed, not because you are perfect, but because you are chosen. There is something else you need to understand, anointed one. The intuition you carry, the dreams that feel too vivid, to ignore the sudden warnings in your spirit that come without explanation. These are not coincidences. These are reminders of your origin. You were created with an awareness most people cannot comprehend, and your awakening is restoring sensitivity that was buried under years of surviving, adapting and shrinking yourself to fit into spaces too small for your calling. Now those gifts are returning. Now those senses are sharpening. Now those spiritual impressions are beginning to make sense. This is why people have come to you with their burdens, even when you were breaking yourself. It's why strangers felt comfortable confessing things to you within minutes of meeting you. It's why you could walk into a room and feel the emotional temperature instantly. You carry a spiritual field that exposes what is hidden and comforts what is wounded. Without trying, you reveal truth, confront darkness, and amplify light. And because of that, heaven has ensured your protection since the day you arrived in this world. A soul like yours does not walk unguarded. As this awakening continues, you will notice a growing clarity. Things you once tolerated will no longer sit comfortably in your spirit. People you once chased will begin to fall away. Habits that once numbed you will lose their appeal. Your soul is cleansing itself. Your identity is rising. Your spirit is remembering. And with every layer that falls off, you will feel more at home in your own skin than you ever have before. This is not transformation. This is restoration. This is you returning to yourself. Chosen one. The veil between who you thought you were and who you truly are is thinning. You are stepping into a level of identity that will change the way you walk, speak love, and even breathe. And now that the truth of your origin is awakening, the next revelation will show you why your presence shifts atmospheres, why you carry authority without trying, and why the world reacts to your spirit even before you say a word. Chosen one. As we continue, your spirit is entering a deeper layer of remembrance, one that explains why your presence has always carried weight, long before you understood anything about calling or origin. You've probably noticed throughout your life that rooms shift when you walk into them. Conversations change. People either open up to you instantly or become strangely uncomfortable. Even when you were younger, you carried an atmosphere around you that others could feel but could not describe. This has nothing to do with confidence or personality. It has everything to do with identity. Your spirit announces itself before your mouth says a single word, and people react not to your appearance, but to your energy, your imprint, your spiritual frequency. This is something you have lived with your entire life, even when you didn't realize it was happening. There were moments you questioned why certain people seemed intimidated by you without cause, or why others felt drawn to you in ways that didn't always make sense. Some saw light in you that made them want to be close. Others saw truth in you that made them want to run. And you. Chosen one often blamed yourself, wondering if you were the problem, wondering if you needed to change, wondering if you were somehow too much. But now you're beginning to understand the reactions of others were never really about you. They were responses to the spiritual authority you carry, the one you were born with, the one heaven placed inside you when your soul was sent into this world. This is why people have come to you for advice, even when you were the one struggling. It's why you've been the emotional anchor for friends and family, even when nobody offered you the same support in return. It's why people confess their deepest pains to you without hesitation, as if their spirit trusted you before their mind caught up. And it's why you have often felt drained after being around others, because you were carrying emotional and spiritual weight that was never yours to carry. At times this felt unfair, overwhelming, even heavy. But what you now must see is that these experiences were signs of who you are. They were early indicators of the spiritual authority woven into your origin. Even before you awakened to your identity was already operating. As your awareness sharpens, you will begin to recognize how often you were spiritually tested by environments that were too small for your calling. You walked into places where the atmosphere felt thick, heavy, or unsettled, and your spirit sensed it instantly. You felt discomfort before anyone else knew something was wrong. You felt warnings before danger became visible. You felt shifts in energy before situations changed. This was never anxiety. It was discernment. It was your spiritual receptors adjusting to the unseen world around you, revealing the true nature of everything within your reach. There were times you felt a sudden heaviness around someone who seemed kind on the outside, and later discovered their intentions were not pure. There were times you felt deep peace before stepping into something that later became a blessing. There were times you felt pushed away from people you wanted to stay connected to, and in time you understood why heaven pulled you back. You have always been led, redirected, and protected because your identity requires spiritual clarity. An ordinary path could never contain you. An ordinary environment could never grow you, and ordinary battles could never activate the kind of strength your calling demands. Chosen. One another sign of your divine origin is how deeply you feel purpose, even when you are unsure of the details. You have always sensed that your life is supposed to mean something. Even in your darkest seasons, something inside you kept whispering that you were made for more. You have felt destiny tug at you like a thread woven into your soul. You have felt an inner pull toward greatness, even when your circumstances seemed small. You have felt a spiritual responsibility on your shoulders, even when you didn't yet know what you were being prepared for. That inner pull is not pressure. It is memory. It is your soul remembering agreements made before birth, assignments written before time, promises spoken over your spirit, long before you entered a physical body. This is why comfort has never been your home. This is why settling has never worked for you. This is why mediocrity suffocates you. Your spirit rejects anything that doesn't align with your assignment. Your identity refuses to shrink into spaces that cannot hold your calling. And every time you tried to make yourself small, just to fit in, your spirit rebelled. You cannot be contained by what was not built for you. And now, chosen one, The clarity rising within you is preparing you for something much greater than survival. You are entering a season where you won't just sense truth, you will walk in it. You won't just feel power, you will carry it. You won't just awaken, you will activate. Everything heaven has hidden in you is beginning to surface, and the world will soon witness what your spirit has always known. But before we move forward, there is one more revelation we must uncover: the reason your lineage, your inheritance, and your spiritual bloodline play a far greater role in your identity than you've ever been told. Chosen one. As we step into this next revelation, your spirit is entering the realm that explains everything the world could never articulate about you. This is where your hidden lineage begins to reveal itself, where the mystery of your spiritual bloodline rises to the surface, and where the truth behind your lifelong sense of being different finally becomes clear. You were not shaped by ordinary inheritance. You were shaped by something ancient, sacred, and written long before your earthly family name ever existed. The signs were always there, scattered throughout your story, waiting for this moment when your spirit would be mature enough to understand their meaning. You have carried spiritual traits your environment could not explain: emotional depth, your family could not understand wisdom beyond your age, and a sense of purpose that no one taught you. These were not random qualities, they were markers of origin. There were moments in your life when you felt older than your years, as if you had lived lifetimes of experience without ever leaving this one. You often felt like the first in your family to break cycles, to see truth, to seek healing, to crave spiritual alignment. The path you walk is one no one in your bloodline walked before you, because you are the one sent to break open what others could not. But here is what few people realize: when heaven assigns someone to break generational patterns, that person is never ordinary. Their soul is fortified with divine DNA. Their spirit is equipped with intuition that bypasses logic. Their identity carries the memory of battles fought in realms most people never enter. You have been carrying a spiritual inheritance that predates your family history, stretching into the unseen world, tied to a lineage of purpose heaven has preserved across time. This is why you sometimes felt disconnected from your own family, not out of disrespect or distance, but because your spirit did not originate from the same frequency. There were emotional languages you spoke that they could not understand. There were spiritual instincts you carried that they could not recognize. There were depths within you that intimidated or confused them. It is not that they were unworthy or lacking. It is simply that your spirit was sent into a system with a different assignment, one that required you to stand apart, observe from a distance, and grow through internal revelation rather than external validation. Even when you felt alone in your household, heaven stood near. Even when you felt misunderstood, heaven understood you completely. Even when you felt like the odd one out, your spirit was aligning with a lineage beyond the physical. Chosen one, your entire life has been shaped by an invisible tug, a pull toward something higher, something deeper, something eternal. Every time you tried to suppress this longing, it came back stronger. Every time you tried to live a normal life, something inside you resisted. And every time you tried to bury your sensitivity, your intuition, or your gifts, your spirit rebelled. Because your true source is not earthly. Your true identity is not grounded in what you learned growing up. Your true origin is tied to heaven's design, not the world's structure. Your life has always carried duality, living in a human form while moving with a spirit that remembers something much older. You feel things others do not because your sensitivity was inherited spiritually, not biologically. You see things others cannot because your vision comes from a place beyond flesh. You know things without knowing how because your intuition is connected to the realm you came from. There were moments you dreamed things that later happened and you brushed it off. There were times you sensed a person's true intention before their actions ever confirmed it. There were seasons when you felt a shift in the atmosphere before any visible change occurred. These were not coincidences. These were glimpses of your origin breaking through. Your gifts have always been active, but you were not always conscious of them. Now, as your spirit awakens fully, everything that was once blurry is becoming clear. You are beginning to realize that you were not receiving information, you were remembering it. This is why you often felt spiritual, even when you didn't consider yourself religious. This is why you talked to God before you even understood theology. This is why you had a sense of right and wrong without anyone teaching you morality. This is why you felt drawn to solitude, reflection, or quiet spaces where your spirit could breathe. Those moments were not you escaping, they were you connecting. They were your soul whispering, "You've been here before." Your spirit remembers places, your feet have never walked truths, your mind never studied, and battles your body never fought. That memory is spiritual inheritance. Another sign of your divine lineage is the way pain shaped you. While others broke under their wounds, your pain became the catalyst for transformation. You didn't just survive heartbreak, you evolved through it. You didn't just endure betrayal, you grew spiritual discernment. You didn't just face abandonment, you developed inner strength. Your suffering did not crush you because your spirit carried resilience that did not come from this world. You were built with the capacity to turn wounds into wisdom storms, into strength, and trials into testimony. This resilience is evidence of your origin. Earthbound spirits collapse under pressure, but chosen spirits rise, and you always rose even when you had every reason to fall. Chosen one. Your lineage is not defined by the dysfunction you were born into. It is defined by the purpose you were assigned to. You were sent into your family line, not to imitate it, but to elevate it. You were born in one place, but you originated from another. Your spirit carries the imprint of heaven, and because of that, you have walked through life with a level of protection, intuition, and depth that cannot be faked or learned. Your life has been marked by divine fingerprints the world could not erase, and now heaven is pulling you into full remembrance. Your spiritual DNA is activating. Your identity is rising. Your lineage is revealing itself. The veil between who you were told to be and who you truly are is dissolving. For the first time, you are seeing yourself not through the lens of pain or confusion, but through the eyes of destiny. Everything that has happened to you, everything you endured, everything you carried, everything you felt, it all makes sense in this moment of clarity. Chosen one, your origin is divine, your bloodline is spiritual, your calling is ancient, and your awakening is now. But there is still one more truth you must receive, the revelation that will shift your future, your assignment, and the authority you walk in from this day forward. Chosen one. As we come to the end of this message, let your spirit breathe in what has been spoken over you. You are not here by chance. You were not drawn to this moment by curiosity or coincidence. You were pulled here by the same divine force that has guided your steps since the day your spirit entered this world. This is your awakening. This is your remembrance. This is heaven whispering, "You are more than human. You are mine, anointed one." Your true identity is rising now. The signs that shadowed your childhood, the intuition that never faded, the unexplainable moments of protection, the longing that never left your soul, all of them have been leading you to this revelation. Heaven has been unveiling your origin piece by piece, waiting for the moment when your heart would be ready to receive it without fear. And now you stand here, not as someone searching for identity, but as someone recognizing what has always lived within you. The mystery of your origin is not a riddle to solve, but a truth to embrace. Chosen one, may you walk forward from this moment with a deeper awareness of who you are. May you step into your days with clarity, knowing that your path is not random, but divinely written. May every doubt fall away. May every lie about your worth be uprooted. May every limitation that once held you fade under the weight of the truth, now alive in your spirit. You carry divine imprint. You carry eternal breath. You carry a calling that was written before time. Heaven has marked you, sealed you, and protected you for this very hour. I speak blessing over your journey. May your spirit grow stronger. May your discernment sharpen. May your gifts awaken fully. And may your steps align with the destiny that has been waiting for you to recognize it. Wherever you go, may light follow you. Whatever you touch, may it flourish. Whomever you encounter, may they feel the presence of the divine that rests upon you. You are not ordinary. You never were. You are chosen, and heaven moves with you. If this message has spoken to the deepest parts of your soul, chosen one, I invite you to affirm it in the comments. Speak what your spirit now knows. I embrace my divine origin. Let these words anchor the revelation within you. And if you desire to walk further into your calling with this community, you may subscribe or share, not as an act of habit, but as a step of alignment, helping awaken other chosen ones who are still searching for themselves. Go now in strength, in clarity, and in truth. Walk with reverence for the identity heaven has revealed to you today. And remember, wherever your journey leads next, you do not walk it alone. Heaven goes before you. Heaven surrounds you. Heaven speaks through you. Rise, chosen one. Your true origin is calling you forward.